What's up, gang? All right, thank you for watching this video, taking the time to uh, listen to me and choosing me to. Uh, it's just an honor to for you to be listening to me, taking the time to listen to me because this helps just not myself but veterans as well, but mostly for the veterans and it's a huge need out there. I was talking to some people, some veterans who got out and recently too, like not too long ago, wishing that there was somebody talking about this before. And it seems like that's still the problem, right? The big problem is that there is still not enough guidance around the transition, how to use go about what's out there, what opportunities out there. And some of you might be feeling like, do I even qualify? Will they even accept me if I work on, you know, uh, Boeing 767s or 787s? I've never worked on aircraft that big. I'm a helicopter guy. I've never worked on fixed airplane. I don't know anything about fixed airplanes. So um, that's a very reasonable, uh, a great question. Uh, a valid concern for those type of things because a lot of us guys, especially if you guys are smart. You guys are very smart, and you want to make sure that you weigh all your options and you make sure that you're going to make the best informed decision that you can make. And um, so those concerns are valid, and sometimes it keeps people from taking any action. Not that you guys are scared to take it; it's just that you don't think that's a valid, option. And I'm going to tell you that companies are looking for you guys. I always say this in every class. So Joe Zaragoza, for the last 6 years, I've been operating an AMP course where I help military veterans get into great opportunities. And how do I do that? I do that by helping you guys get your AMP. Make sure you have a resume that's going to be, just basics. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for basic stuff. It's nothing fancy. And then plus, um, jumping into the right career because I've met some companies out there and they are not valuing their people. Let's put it that way, appropriately. So, does you what I want to talk to you about is that how you can leverage your military experience and get great jobs. And I've been doing this, the placing part. I've been doing it for the last uh, couple of years. It's already been, since 23, helping guys do this, and I want to continue to do this. Okay, so let me see. There's been two opportunities that I've helped two companies I was working with, even though I was doing their AMP, but we were also recruiting guys for them. And in your first year, they were making 50K bonuses, and then one guys were making $40 an hour. Let's say they, work 40 hours a week, 160, that's $6,400 times 12. That's 76,000 at a regional airlines, and that's definitely doable. And these companies are, they value their military technicians, right? I've worked for Boeing. I worked for them. I worked with them, with Boeing, their technicians. I'm a vendor with Boeing. I've worked with Frontier Airlines, worked with those guys. And then I worked with Allegiant and helped them recruit people just because they're, offering great benefits and great pay for their technicians, right? So the bonus was an opportunity for them, but these are regional aircraft. They're not considered one of the majors like United, American Airlines. And of course, they want to be big like that, but this is this was 2 years ago, and they've definitely grown uh, and do a lot for the veterans. So you might be thinking like, um, my skills don't translate, and I'm going to tell you they do. Okay, you know how to turn a wrench, you know how to read instructions. There's going to be some different things, but overall, you know how to read instructions, and once you know where to go for regulations, just like you did with technical orders, you can do the same thing. Okay. Let's see this. Put that in airplane mode. I love it that it's airplane mode. Let's see this. Okay. So I was reading this article about the Aviation Technician Education Council, and they mentioned that only 10% of military aviation maintenance technicians transition into civilian aviation jobs. And it's a trend that has hit double digits for 3 years, right? So I want to hit up on these things that uh, some of you might be concerned about. Pay is one of them that's very important. You're probably wondering if your skills even translate into A&P. And I talked to a lot of guys about this. A lot of guys are saying, man, if I would have known about this, I would have done this a long time ago. And their benefits were there, opportunities were there for them. So what I want to do is do my part to grow the awareness of this situation, right? Because a lot, there's just a lack of awareness and support through this, and I want to be that company to help you transition. And I want to make it as super and easy as possible, where there's like, if a company wants to work with us and say, hey, we're looking for maintenance technicians, are you paying your guys well? Are you giving them benefits? And do you make it easy for them to transition? Do you help them during that transition? If so, I'm all on board. And I get it. Some small businesses that have maybe 20 people don't have the infrastructure to do something like that. I mean, maybe even a little more, even 100 people don't have the infrastructure for that. However, as long as they're making an effort to take care of you, I'm good with that. And I like to talk to businesses that take care of the veterans. Okay, so, but everything else, what I like to do is make sure first you get your A&P. If we're going to pursue aviation maintenance career, I want you to get your A&P, right? This is not to get away from your bachelor stuff. You need, the more you can, do it, right? Even after you're done with your A&P, continue your education. Super important. Get into project management, get into aviation maintenance, get into engineering. Like, all these things are great, and you should pursue those things. Because especially if the military is paying for it, right? All right, so that's how you leverage it. Because a lot of you guys have the training, and then you have the experience on the flight line, in the phase hangars, their inspections, like all that's experience that you've done in the military. And you don't have to stick to defense contractors. You don't have to be a contractor, subcontractor for anything. You can go direct, working for a Delta, working for a American Airlines. You can do these things. And there's other small businesses out there, other aviation companies that are great. They're like super awesome to take care of you. And then they're starting to compete with pay rates of regional airlines, or MROs. So it's getting competitive out there, and you are the breadwinner. Basically, you are the prize, because they're looking for guys like you. So that's how you can leverage that. Why? Like, like I'm looking at the statistics. It says only 10% of technicians will transition into civilian aviation. You know, there's a majority. You know, some people are done working on aircraft, and I can see how, you know, most of those people, you know, got into a job that went into general maintenance or general admission, or I'm not sure what that's called, and they didn't have aircraft aviation maintenance as their top choice. Like for me, it was a top choice. It was number two. I wanted to be an aerial gunner, so I didn't get that, but I got, you know, aircraft mechanic. So super excited about it. It was one of my choices, and went all in with that one. I went all in, and I left home in 5 days. I was in San Antonio 5 days after talking to the recruiter. So, you know, I've been in the military. I've been in the Air Force for 15 years, 1 year reserve, traditional. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to learn all aspects of maintenance. Not just when I say aspects, I meant like I wanted to get good at engines. I wanted to eventually get good at avionics and, you know, electrical stuff, and be, you know, because I was a crew chief and I knew how to turn a wrench, but I wanted to get good at other areas, and I was kind of using that. You know, I kind of wish technicians in the military would be like A&Ps, where you touch everything, you learn everything. And you know, once I started the school, and, you know, messing around with these sheet metal stuff, it's to me it's fun. Maybe I like building stuff, cutting things up, you know, punching things through metal sheets and stuff. So to me it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and it's almost like using your creative side. Okay. So even though you don't know sheet metal, you'll learn, and it's super easy. We get so many guys learning, and they get it the same day. So, from there, you're just gonna practice, just like a new kid going out of college. You have more experience than that college kid, you know, and that's probably why they're looking into the talent pool of the military to do it, because obviously, you guys are a little mature, can handle stress, and you have leadership skills, and you have demonstrated safety all the way around. So I mean, those traits are great, and that's why you get paid more than just a college student, because you are a safer bet than a college student who had no work history. So the benefit of having the experience is the FAA recognizes your experience. So let's just make that clear: is that your skills is recognized by the FAA. The FAA, all they're gonna do is when they interview you is to say, have you done X, Y, and Z? You've done this, done that, you know, and they're like, okay, sign you off, and then you go home with these forms called FAA form 8610-2, aka tickets. So what those are the authorizations to start the process with the A&P. And A&P is airframe and power plant. And these certifications allows you to return an aircraft back to service, and that's a big deal. That's a huge responsibility, because you're in charge of that aircraft, and you're fixing it and returning it back to service, just like you would in the military. And that A&P helps you sign off any jobs into the system, the documentation system, whatever they use. I don't know, that kind of stuff. And that's what they need. You can start out without the credentials. You can start off with no license or certifications. I'm sorry. And you get a job, but you're going to be very limited, capped, and opportunities will be less. So start with your A&P. At least get your 8610-2s. At least that. Talk to the FAA, get that. So that way, when an employer comes out to, hey, do you have an A&P? And then they have to help you get through the process, and a lot of them don't even know that process. So you can definitely just go to the FAA and talk to them. It's like, hey, I'd like to obtain my AMP, and they'll help you. So many times, I've heard, all kinds of different things like, um, you don't need credentials, which is true, but you'll be very, very limited. And there's no good paying jobs after the military, and that's far from the truth. There's a lot of great companies paying really well, and probably paying more than what you would in the military. So, and that's just starting off. So there's a lot of good reasons to get out, and then now the military has to compete. I remember when I went to the one in Tucson, the guard base up in Tucson, where there was used to be F-16s. I think they're still there, and they didn't like me on base. They were trying to like politely run me off base because they didn't want their technicians getting paid as an AMP and having the opportunity to get out of the military, because then they'll be shorthanded. And then they already were competing with the border patrol because they were taking AMPs out of that and starting them off really well, around $40 an hour, right before I left. It was like a $7 to $39 when I first got there in 2018, and then they changed it over to, it was already like north of 40, or if not 40. So get your AMP. That's more important than your degree, because at least in your degree you can't sign off jobs. That's the difference. And employers are looking for people who already have AMP, and of course continuing to pursue aviation. Let's see. So go ahead, call your FAA, Google FSDO nearby, and you'll find the closest one to you. So that way you give them a call. It's 3:45, so East Coast is probably closed, but you got a little bit of time for Central Times, and all you guys out west, you have time. Make them a call, and just set up a schedule. It's like, hey, at this time, X, Y, and Z, I would like to have a conversation to you about my 8610-2. So you can start it off that way, okay? But this is why I'm doing it, is because I want to help you guys out, get your AMP certification, and have a successful transition. Because I've saw so many people cry, so many men cry, older adults, not from my studying, but from just being away from their family, and they're ready to go home. So I've talked to guys that they feel stuck in the military, and they feel like there's no great opportunities on the outside, which is also, again, far from the truth. Remember, that was the case back then, but these days that's not the case. The aviation world is doing what they can to bring in, make aviation great again. That's what they're trying to do. So again, I'm trying to help out 10,000 aircraft mechanics, and we need your help to help us support. So please comment below AMP, and I'll be able to reach out and help you out. Sound good? All right then. Well, have a good night, everyone. That's it for my rant session. Is spread the word, and make sure that, let's see, people know about this. I'll be coming on live whenever I can to discuss everything AMP, getting you great maintenance positions. All right. So have a good night. Take care.